Hey there! Welcome to Product Marketing Maestros, Tales from the Front Lines. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As Director of Product Marketing and a top product marketing voice, I've always found that real world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why in this show, we dive into the minds of industry titans, as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing maestro Greg Leach, who is director of product growth and product marketing at Seven Shifts in Toronto. Throughout his over 10-year career in tech at startups, scale ups, and FANG stocks, Greg has served as a growth leader with a track record of leading and building growth models and strategies that scale. Greg thrives on building personalized product marketing playbooks for startups in numerous areas, including go to market product launch playbooks, pricing and packaging, cross selling and upselling, product positioning and messaging, customer segmentation, lifecycle marketing, as well as building a team of product marketers. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Greg Leach. Greg, it's an absolute honor to have you on the show.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that intro there. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, Greg. So, like we told our audience, we'll pick a situation from your background and we'll use the ABC framework. We'll talk about the antecedents, what were the prior challenges. We'll talk about the behaviors, what were some of the actions that you took. And we'll talk about the conclusion, how things played out. So, with that, Greg, pick a situation and tell us what were the antecedents, what were the prior challenges?
Yeah, I think a good example I have here was working at one startup I was at. We lacked a true ICP, ideal customer profile, and that problem caused a lot of different decisions that were made where product didn't know the type of ICP we're really building for. So there was always a debate of what gets prioritized. Sales and marketing also didn't know necessarily who the specific target to acquire for. So that left us doing a very blanketed spray and pray approach. And there was always a debate of who our true ICP was within the company itself. And that caused just a lot of internal challenges, misalignment, heading in the wrong direction. And when you're such an early stage company, it is super critical to be able to be super aligned, be super focused as one team heading in one direction. And that was a big problem where I spent some time really kind of jumping in and how do we really define the ICP, which fits in really well with what product marketing teams do.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that, Greg, because a lot of people in the audience may be struggling with similar challenges, right? It's like, you aim your firepower, but you're aiming in the wrong direction if you don't know your ICP. Wonderful. So thank you for that, Greg. So, Greg, now that you've laid out the antecedents, let's talk about the behaviors. Tell us about some of the actions that you took to address the challenge.
Yes, when you lack a true ICP across from a company standpoint, the most important thing is also just to get stakeholder alignment around this project. You could go off and go define an ICP, but if you don't have buy-in around that, that will be the classic example for product marketing where an ICP gets created but no one uses. So right off the bat, the most important thing is hey, this is a project we're going to work on this specific quarter. This is how we're going to go about it. This is let's get alignment from at a leadership level and where your teams will be supported. And that was the step one. Step two was really then around let's start with data that we have today, both quantitative and qualitatively, and start to build do some customer segmentation work here of who are the core people that use our products today, and then also let's look across the market to say what do those segment sizes look like and TAM sizes look like across the market. So worked very closely with data and customer research to pull a lot of those pieces together and really kind of define basically four core segments that we really serve really well. And through that, there was a lot of conversations at a stakeholder level of okay, who do we actually really serve there? Here's who our product is serving well today. Here's what the market tells us, what's based on the opportunity size. Let's now really define is who we're serving today, who we want to serve long term. And it started a lot of good internal discussions and got alignment there, basically put this together into one presentation, and then ultimately kind of rolled it out across the company.
Fabulous, fabulous. I love how you explained that building an ICP that nobody uses, no one cares about, is pointless, right? So it's important not to do that kind of unnecessary work. So thank you. So wonderful. Now that we've talked about the antecedents and the behaviors, now bring it home, Greg. Tell us about the conclusion. How did the situation play out for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next piece is like when you create any sort of ICP, it's critical to actually roll it out and make sure it gets used. So like the way we approached that was like, hey, our CEO like talked about it at like through from like an all hands perspective, right? To make sure it's in there. All of our onboarding, guess what? We had like a session specifically for ICP and we like built it in there, right? Any sort of time where we're like iterating like our mission, we always made sure there was like a customer ICP slide around that. So it was like ingrained in what we were, everything we were doing was everyone was like using that. And ultimately what we started to do is it started to get better alignment on product decisions on like, oh, we're actually not building for that customer. So that's not going to be on our roadmap. And we sales bring someone in and we're like, well, that's actually not a great fit for us. So we could get them to we could get them to close them, but let's just be okay with they're probably going to churn out eventually. And then also it gave like marketing some really good ideas on like, okay, here are the type of channels, these types of our ICP can be found, and how do we build like some really great strategies to acquire those customers. And that's ultimately what it helped build ultimate alignment. And it's funny, it's not necessarily something you can measure per se, but you can see it qualitatively across the company of how we make better decisions ultimately.
Yes, better decisions is ultimately what it's about. And I love, Greg, how you talked about how it's important not just to create the right ICP, but to get it within the DNA of our company. So sales can benefit from it, marketing can benefit from it, product can benefit, everyone benefits from this. Absolutely wonderful. So thank you for laying that out beautifully, Greg. Greg, tell us, if people wanted to learn more about you, where can they find out more?
Yeah. The best place is just searching on LinkedIn, just like Greg Leach. So I'm on there quite a bit. Please connect with me, send me a message if you ever want to connect and just chat more about anything that it comes around like scaling companies. Like always happy to chat more.
Absolutely fabulous. So, Greg, thank you so much. Folks, definitely reach out to Greg for more amazing advice like this. And armed with that knowledge, let's make the magic happen.